All right, this one isn't in your packet. I'm just going to describe it to you. Here's the formula for an absolute value function. And the question that we're asking is, when does this thing have two roots? Do you know how to solve this? Okay, maybe you don't. Let's try this. Do you know how to graph this? Sophia says yes. Lucas says no. Do you know how to graph that? Yeah, just this, the one on the bottom. Okay, I'll show you. It's very easy. That's the graph. I mean, it makes perfect sense, right? If x is 1, y is 1. If x is 2, y is 2. If x is negative 1, what is y?
Negative 1.
Positive.
Positive.
Right. If x is negative 2, so not a hard graph, right? Pretty easy. Everyone agree? Okay. What does the d do? What do you think that does, this number over here? It moves it up and down. I agree, completely. What does the b do? According to their formula. That's the squishy, squishy, squashy, stretchy pants. Yeah, I agree. I agree completely. If b is a large number, then it gets vertically stretched. If b is a fraction, then it gets vertically compressed. If b is negative, then it gets flipped upside down. We cool? What does c do? It moves it left and right. And if c is a positive number, which way does it move?
Left.
To the left. It's kind of the opposite of what we would expect. Yeah. That's all the basic stuff. So the question that they asked you is, what are some examples of what these numbers can be in order for this graph to have two roots? Now, if b is 1, c is 0, and d is 0, then you'll have y equals this absolute value of x, and we already know what that graph looks like. And how many roots does that have? How many times did that thing cross or touch the x-axis? 1 time. So I wanted to know, what do I need to do to make it have 2 x-intercepts? Sophia says negative d. Yes, I agree. If I put negative 7, it's going to take my graph and make it like that. So my answer is 1, 0, 7. Or negative 7, I'm sorry, negative 7. If it were positive 7, it would go up like this, and that's a problem. Right? That would have no roots. Does that make sense? So yes, that's the answer. Okay, what about this? There's another way. There's another way you can do it. Yeah, so negative 7 just moves the whole dang thing down 7. I mean, just, okay. Sophia's saying negative b, and I would disagree with you, kind of. What you're saying is, you want me to flip this thing over like that? Sophia's saying, no, what I want you to do is both take the regular graph, I want you to flip him over and raise him up. Because look, if I take this thing, flip it over and raise it up, it would look like this, and there are my 2 roots. Right there.
Okay.
So what are you suggesting, Sophia? Like a negative 2 absolute value of x plus 7? And I would agree with you as well.
So it's either
You can do a bunch of stuff to this thing.
Mhm.
Actually, that would be the only two real things. You can either have a positive number here and a negative number here, or you could have a negative number here and a positive number here. And C don't make no difference.
Mhm.
Because all C is doing is moving it right and left, and that doesn't make any difference as far as like helping you out at all. So when they ask you what is A or what is B, C, and D, then I think that the computer says mark them right if they chose B as a positive number and D as a negative number, and they could put anything they want in for C. Or mark them right if they chose B as a negative number and D as a positive number, and they still C doesn't matter.
Okay.
And look, there's your absolute value craziness thing, using things that you are completely familiar with. Maybe you don't recognize this because I didn't write this like this. Right? If I wrote it like that, I think you guys would look at it and say, oh, I know exactly how to do it. Are you kidding me? That's so easy.
That's the same thing, just different.
Yeah, they use different letters. It's because other people who write math books aren't as smart as me, and they don't come up with like logical ways of doing this. So they choose dumb things like C times A to the X power, which makes no sense to me to this day. Actually, people who write this are way smarter than me. I'm just letting, just making a joke. Okay.